All of us oscillate between two ideas. सब कुछ लिखा हुआ है, the way Hrithik Roshan said in ZNMD. Everything is written, predetermined. And there's another idea. Nothing is set in stone. We write our own destiny. And this story is a personal exploration if the real life is the blend of written and the unwritten. So let's start this journey. Why kick things off with a philosophical question? Because that's what OVERDRIVE has stood for all these years. We ask questions, big ones, small ones, all kinds, and then we hit the road to chase down the answers. For 27 years, that's been our way of life. And really, what cooler way to celebrate our 27th anniversary? What we didn't see coming though was how one heavy existential question could steer us toward colossal answers. It can't get bigger than this. When we thought of doing this 27th anniversary edition of OVERDRIVE, didn't realize that is going to be this big. So let's start this story from the beginning, guys. Right after my school, I tried getting into NDA, couldn't make it. That chapter closed even before starting, and after spending half of my life, driving and reviewing cars and motorcycles, I was just thinking, what if the story was reversed? And that's the discussion I was having with my colleagues, and all of us thought that this is a common dilemma, common question for most of us, and that's when we thought, why not? Why not try to merge these two stories? And so the road trip began. Half of us started from Mumbai, the rest from Delhi via Pune. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and this story had to be a collective narration. We were all far too emotional about it, especially me. That is why Tuhin took the reins of being the objective voice in this story. After all, it's not a regular media launch or drive, or usual comparison tests we do. It was about our first meeting with the giants, Arjun, T90, T72, and the BMPs. Our destination, Ahilyanagar, the home of the Armored Corps Center and School and the Mechanized Infantry Center and School, the heart of India's mechanized warfare training. For any motorhead, these facilities are like a fusion of a primary school, university, and a high-tech lab. Here, officers learn to drive, repair, and maintain 15 to 45-ton beasts, mastering every nut, bolt, and mechanical process behind tanks and BMPs, and test them on various testing ranges too. Working among these machines, it's impossible not to grasp the full weight of the phrase we use so often: drives like a tank.
There is an odd sensation you feel when you see a 45-ton hunk of iron lumbering out of a shed when you don't expect it. You have to quickly recalibrate. Nothing this big should even be moving, especially not with the confidence and surprising agility the T90 tank seems to have. This was only the start, because for our first acquaintance with the ACC&S, we were quite literally thrown into the deep end. Now for you, water wading becomes important, say when you have to deal with the usual Mumbai monsoon, or say you're on an odd off-road trail on your road trip. But when you're in the battlefield, it means something completely different, and you're probably driving something as massive as this T90 tank. It's over 1000 horsepower. It's got like a 35.88 litre V12 that will run on any kind of fuel it finds, petrol or kerosene. But there's some nice details as to how this massive thing becomes waterproof and can weigh it up to 5000 mm. Now this can weigh it up to 5 meters. So how does this absolutely massive war machine become waterproof? It takes a lot of work. Every little nook and cranny and opening has to be sealed with this putty kind of material. And then you have that usual problem of not flooding the engine with the water going in. How do you solve that? They have the special one-way valve for the exhaust. You can see it's absolutely massive. So yeah, some neat, very ingenious engineering that goes into making this waterproof.
It was not a splash. It was a tsunami. I was humbled. I felt clueless, like those fish I could see jumping around in the water-filled trench when the T-90 glided, belching smoke underneath via one-way exhaust valves, thus creating a unique imagery of water and smoke mix which I'd never seen. Or the scenario where you feel like a side character on the set of a Godzilla movie, watching the creature emerging out of the water, streams of water pouring off its metallic skin.
So we're going to get a bit of instructions from the guys here. They will show us how this machine works. Some of it is quite similar to driving a car, which is surprising, and a lot of it is very different. So we're just doing that right now, and then once we're up and ready, we'll familiarize ourselves with this track and go for a quick spin. We'll be driving what this feels.
Then it was the time for us to meet the giants.
Think of a V12 and you can't help but imagine an Italian sports car screaming through its gears. But in the setting we were in, a V12 is an entirely different beast. The T-72 and T-90, mainstays of the Indian Army's tank fleet, are V12s. They just happen to be gigantic 35.88-litre rear-mounted diesel engines. The T-72 makes 780 horsepower while the T-90 makes a healthier 1000 horsepower. Also, they may only do about 60 kmph, but this is plenty quick for something of this mass and presence. Both can carry 1601 litres of fuel. You know you're dealing with something quite far from the ordinary when the tank commander tells you that we measure economy in litres per kilometre and not the other way around. The T-72 has a range of up to 550 kilometres and the T-90 up to 650 kilometres.
Comfort is overrated. Features are useless. Let's not fall in that trap. Loud, metallic, mechanical, no features, very difficult to get in, even more difficult to get out, but I loved it. Decades of conditioning and training had me convinced that crossing deep, water-filled, muddy trenches without getting stuck was going to test my essence of being. While I was still preparing to brace myself and hold on tight, the T-72 glided through the entire stretch, just what it was made for. It was deceptively calm, crossing every rise and dip, sliding through the sludge and navigating its way out. While the accelerator and brake kept you aware of the enormity around you, the steering was surprisingly compliant. Just a flick on either side and this gentle giant kept its course. This was a unique visceral experience of nervousness, excitement, mixed with a sense of invincibility.
Guys, I seriously feel any motoring enthusiast, any auto enthusiast, any motorhead should get this kind of experience once in their lifetime. It just, it gives you a different kind of perspective, how we look at machines, engineering, driving, fun, thrill, challenges, practicality, functionality, and brute force and power.
The tanks are way too focused on covering ground and breaking through enemy resistance, which begs the question, how do the troops come along? The Indian Army solution to this is the BMP, or the Brunevaya Machina Pichota. It's an armoured amphibious vehicle that supports frontline battles with transport, recovery, supporting fire and reconnaissance efforts. It can hold up to 10 personnel. It's about as quick as the tanks at 65 kmph, but notably this 14.3 ton contraption will actually float on water and weigh at up to 7 kilometers per hour.
So Toin, what can you tell us about this vehicle?
So it's absolutely massive to start with, and you would think that something like this would be 4x4 with all the tracks and trails that you see on it, but this is actually front wheel drive and the engine is absolutely massive. It's a 15-litre diesel engine, makes about 285 PS. Now you might think that may not be enough, but this is a 15-ton vehicle and it's making over 1000 Newton meters. And very interestingly, of course you can't steer it like a normal car, so you have a kind of gearing system, a helical gear system which works with the engine. And that,
Sorry, and one of my favorite parts, it doesn't have a steering wheel, it has a handle.
So with that handle, you can actually change how much power goes to each of the tracks, and that's how you turn it. Genuinely a one-of-a-kind experience.
So infantry combat vehicle means you have guns over there, but it also carries our fighters. So look at this. So this is where you can accommodate 3 soldiers. And why this door is so heavy? Because this is basically working as a fuel tank as well. So this has 5 fuel tanks, and the total capacity is around 462 liters. And if you're wondering, kitna deti hai? So that is around. Guess and let us know in the comment section. While we were busy marveling at the big guns, we later realized there was another category of vehicles we couldn't miss. The machines which we started with are called A vehicles that run on tracks, while B vehicles are those that run on tires.
Now the Maruti Suzuki Gypsy has been absolutely legendary, which is why the army trusts it so much. But the Armored Corps has made this special version which goes even harder. This is for reconnaissance, so effectively this vehicle will move forward before the main convoy or battalion moves, and it'll sort of make ground, survey the terrain and so on. So it needs to have quite a bit more capability. So mechanically it's pretty much the same. It has that 4x4 system, it has that same petrol engine, 1.3 liter, but some very significant modifications have been made. Now the standard Gypsy has about 300 mm of water weighting capacity. Now in the modern sense, that's not very nice. You have regular SUVs that do even better, but this one does 600 and sometimes even 700. In fact, if the water's high enough, this Gypsy will actually float. I mean, it won't move forward, but it will float. That's how well concealed all the internals are. Now, how does it do it? You see that this is the intake, comes right through from the engine and placed very high up. By the way, this car, for the purposes of reconnaissance, a lot of modifications have been made to it. For example, this rack here, the lighting that you saw in front, all of this to serve markers, all the things that you see in the load bay are specific to this vehicle. And then you come to this exhaust. It's very unique. You don't see it on any car on the road. The way it comes up like this. So the car becoming flooded that you always worry about when you're driving through a flooded road during the monsoons, that will never happen in this vehicle.
Now this is not a playground for any amateur. This is the arena for gladiators. We will just step aside and watch and not talk, because these tanks and BMPs will do all the talking. Let's go. While my automotive background has taught me nuance, evaluation of refinement, comfort, chassis tuning and much more, my news anchoring years have trained me to be calm, composed and stay a mile away from exaggerated adjectives. But this drive changed me. Moving in a 45-ton of armored steel is absolute raw poetry. These machines make you feel like a part of some superhuman force itself. Emerging from the forged vault, the smell of diesel, the weight of cupolas, the grip of the latches, the jolt with each gear shift. This experience in itself is to be baptized by metal, by armor, by gravity. Once baptized, you are changed forever. So driving these tanks and BMPs can be the cover page of this story, but Auto Wing is not just about tanks and BMPs. Manijit brings us more details.
Let's go back to 1924. The Royal Tank Corps School was established right here at Ahmednagar. And today I stand on those very grounds, which is now the ACC&S, the Armored Corps Center and School, which is the forerunner in automotive training and mechanized training and armored training of the Indian Army. Now, you may find all of this information on Google and Wikipedia easily. But today, I hold this great privilege of being here and maybe show you a few things that you might just not.
The ACC&S operates under three main verticals: the School of Technical Training, the School of Armored Warfare, and the Recruit Training Group, with the automotive wing falling under the School of Technical Training. As an enthusiast, my curiosity had no bounds, and remarkably, every question I had was answered just by looking around. The training here is nothing short of exceptional. Every army vehicle used by the Indian Army was present in fully disassembled cut models, offering trainees a hands-on understanding of the mechanics. But the learning doesn't stop at the physical. Cutting-edge VR technology is also part of the curriculum. Wearing a VR headset, we could virtually work on a T90 engine, an experience that was both immersive and educational at the same time. This combination of real-world mechanics and advanced simulation ensures that armored corps are battle-ready technicians capable of fixing tanks, gypsies, or hauling trucks even under the most extreme combat conditions. Because in the army, failure is simply not an option.
Today, visiting the ACC&S was a revelation where I could see these young minds, these young Javans being honed and prepped to get up, get out there and protect the country from everything imaginable and from everything possible. This is the mech spirit. It signifies the mechanized infantry arm of the Indian Army. You can see it's a young person who holds a spear in one hand and a rifle in the other, has wings and is kind of wading water waves. This means that this arm of the army is one of the youngest out there who provide rapid response in each and every sector possible, be it air, land or water.
At the MIC&S, we witnessed a rare and detailed showcase of engineering excellence. From the rugged Gypsy and Tata Safari Storm to a hybrid Grand Vitara, each vehicle was presented in functional cut models, exposing its internal workings with absolute clarity. The 4x4 systems of the Gypsy and Safari were brought to life, demonstrating their unique drivetrain transitions from rear-wheel drive to four-wheel drive with just a shift of the gear. No words needed, the mechanics spoke for themselves. The learning extended beyond mobility into safety, with a working seat and steering setup that simulated airbag deployment. Even heavy-duty Ashok Leyland trucks and carriers stood dissected, offering students a deep understanding of large-scale vehicle dynamics. Every display was detailed, precise, and fully operational, a testament to the Indian Army's uncompromising standards, because when it comes to national security and saving lives, every mechanism matters.
There was one special package, special surprise still left for us. As MIC&S has been at the forefront of training youngsters, soldiers and officers, the world of technology is changing. How do you see the future of especially armed forces and these kind of technologies?
Yeah, the technology, especially in warfare, is changing by the day as we speak. So it's very important that we remain current, and toward that extent, while the infantry combat vehicle remains the basic fighting platform, but all the latest technology are getting integrated, be it the drones, be it manned systems, unmanned systems, AI, all these things get integrated with the existing platforms so that we are able to fight today's war with the technology which is available.
And what do you have to say, or what do you want to say to the
youngsters, motorheads, auto enthusiasts who are watching you on our channel right now?
So as far as my own regiment, the Mechanized infantry is concerned, the platforms that you see behind, so we integrate the best of both the mechanized forces as well as infantry. So you get to drive and experience platforms like this, and you also get to operate on ground. So to that extent, I mean, for a life which can never be imagined anywhere else, this is the place to be.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So, sir, we didn't know that Army had a dedicated auto wing as well. I mean, we knew that you have specialized people for this, but a dedicated wing. What do you do here?
Basically, here in the automotive wing, which is one of the 3 wings in the Armored Corps Central School, we've got the armament wing, we've got the electronics wing, and the automotive wing. The automotive wing basically deals with training of all Armored Corps personnel as well as other arms towards the automotive aspects of not only tanks but also B vehicles, to include gypsies, ALSs, 2.5 tons, which you've already seen over a period of time. So we specialize in giving them not only the working of these vehicles but also maintenance as well, and making them specialized in their particular fields, so that when tomorrow they go back from here, they are top notch and they can actually do their job perfectly well.
Hey, this is exactly the kind of closing we were looking for. Not to start with a bang, but to end this episode with a bang. An episode which was filled with brute force, power, metal, BHP, torque, and lots of courage. We enjoyed this whole journey, and I just wish all of us, all the motorheads, experience something of this sort once in their lifetime.